He has stopped applying. In a video called 1000 Deaf People Hear for the First Time, a woman is given her hearing back and then asked to look into the camera and say the word subscribe, which is weird. That is at 1 minute 52. And 50 seconds later, a man asks the host, yes, and the host answers, I'm the one who helped you here. So a large number of people watched that and just concluded that the man is the Antichrist, right? So I ran the accusation against the actual documents. It fails. And the way it fails is worth 12 minutes. Maybe not more. Because the reason it fails is not the reason anyone expects. In June, YouTube announced that Jimmy Donaldson had become the first single human being to reach 500 million subscribers, following one man, voluntarily, for free. So here's the case against him, stated in full, because the shape of it is real. So there is a video where 1,000 blind people get cataract surgery. So it opens with the line, in this video, we are curing 1,000 people blindness, first person plural, right? So the surgeons are not in the title. They're not doing anything. So about 90 seconds in, the host says, we still have 980 lives to change, right? Which is not a sentence about people. It is a progress bar. So near the end, there's a man who has just had his sight restored that he is asked to hand back his blindfold. So the host notes that this is a little ironic, of course, and then a Tesla is revealed. So there's a second video where 1,000 deaf people receive more than $3 million of hearing technology. So there's a third where 2,000 people are given prosthetics, and a man named Kevin is identified out loud as the 71st person helped to walk at 9 minutes and 9 seconds. There is a video where representatives of every country on earth, they compete for $250,000. There is a water charity campaign that pulled in some fucking creators from 115 countries. Then there is the arena. 456 players in real life Squid Game, $456,000 to the last survivor. So best friends are placed against each other, so that winning means that you have to eliminate your friend. And in the middle of that elimination, the host pauses the sequence to announce that one person who subscribes in the next 7 days will receive $10,000. And immediately after, the sponsor's logo is placed inside the challenge itself, and the sponsor's game is described as a battle royale, which is also the exact situation the players are in. So the losers of the final round are just placed in fake coffins, and the brand is called Beast. The franchise spun out of it's called Beast Game. So you have restored sight, you have restored hearing, restored walking, and all the nations that are gathered under one organizer. Arena with a sovereign above the rules, a public act of allegiance that costs nothing, and the name. So if you are just assembling all of this on purpose, you would not change much. So for most of the world, getting your sight back is a waiting list and a photocopier, right? It is not a thumbnail with an arrow on it. So the hearing technology in one of those videos cost more than $3 million. And my apartment has a radiator that whistles. And the landlord who considers it a feature. Anyway, and then you go read what the accusation actually requires. And none of the above is on the list. So the Catholic Catechism, paragraphs 675 to 677, defines the impostor as a pseudo-messianism. So a figure offering an apparent solution to human problems with man glorifying himself in the place of God. So I mean, there's nothing in there about coffins, logos, numerology. It is a definition about where population puts its trust, which means that the strongest version of this argument does not require him to be a bad man and does not require one single thing in his videos to be fake. Everybody who makes this video goes hunting for the mark. The mark was never the point. So before the verdict, the defense in its strongest form, because it is a good defense. The operations happened. CEE International, an eye care organization, says that it coordinated 1,000 surgeries across several countries in 3 weeks. So the International Agency for the Prevention of Blindness, they confirmed the partnership and confirmed that the cases were preventable vision loss. So the hearing aids are hearing aids, and the prosthetics are prosthetics. So people went looking just for a staged medicine and came back with nothing. And second, the promotion is not a coat of paint on the charity. It is the actual funding mechanism. So nobody finances a discreet act of kindness, right? The thumbnail pays for the surgery. So you remove the arrow, the counter, and the first person plural, and the car, and you have removed the entire budget. And 1,000 people do not get their sight back. You are allowed to find that ugly, but it is not a lie. And the plainest version, 1,000 people who could not see can see. 2,000 people who could not walk can walk. That is real. It is permanent for them, and it is more than I have done, and more than almost anyone quoting a verse about it has done. Now the verdict. The word Antichrist, it appears in the letter of John. And it is a doctrinal test, it's not an aesthetic one. So the Antichrist is the one who denies that Jesus is the Christ, who refuses the Father and the Son. Second Thessalonians adds a figure who exalts himself, who claims to be God, and works through false signs. Revelation adds blasphemy, war against the saints, a compelled worship, and a mark without which no one can buy or sell. He has never denied that Jesus is the Christ. He has never claimed to be God, and nobody is required to worship him. Nobody has been prevented from eating for failing to subscribe, right? So the subscription fee is free, and canceling it takes 2 seconds, which makes the least demanding mark of allegiance ever assigned to anything. And on the numbers, 456 is the number of players on a Netflix show. There is no 666 anywhere in the material. The only literal ritual in the entire body of work is a hike, described on camera as symbolic. At 11 minutes, 22 seconds of a video about prosthetic legs. So $456,000 for winning a children's game. Many names can be forced to fit the number if you're just willing to do the arithmetic, right? So that is safer to wait for a prophecy to be fulfilled than to invent an identification, and that everyone announcing a name with confidence is leading other people into error. So that is the complete rebuttal 18 centuries before anyone uploaded anything. Nobody listened. Luther named the papacy in the small called articles. The Westminster Confession named the Pope as well. There's Bernard McGinn, who wrote the history of the figure, who describes basically 2,000 years of the same move. Whoever is most visible receives the label, and the label, it tells you what the era was frightened of. It never once told anyone dealing with. So the verdict, he is not the Antichrist. Not one of the criteria the text actually specifies is present. And every element people cite is just set design. He's basically the first person to assemble the entire aesthetic by accident, right? Out of nothing but just production logic. The healings are there because a restart site performs well. And the nations are there because scale performs well. So the arena is there because elimination performed well. So we can go all the way. And the name is there because it sounded strong in 2012. So there's no plan. And that should trouble us far more than a plan would. Because a plan means that somebody is steering. And yeah. So the fear underneath all of this was never about orange. It was that the false savior would arrive pleasant, generous, well-funded, and would ask for something very small. And the record shows that when that finally assembled itself, well, nobody had to arrange it. The insensitives did it alone. A man handed back his blindfold, and there was a car standing behind him. And he was grateful, and it was right to be. It was a real car. So he asked for a click, and nobody wrote anything down about that.